Hi, this is Mary Kay. I'm going to demonstrate this seascape. I have this beautiful photograph. It has a nice opening through the rocks and a rock here that breaks the horizon line, but I've added a couple more over here so that my eye won't go out the page. I used water-soluble graphite paper to trace it. It looks like this. I'm going to start by painting the sky, wet into wet. So I'm going to wet my sky. I'm going to go over these rocks and slightly over the horizon line. And I need to make sure that I get that painted the exact same color as the colors in the sky. I'm going to start with cerulean. That sky is very light. Watercolor always dries down 10% lighter, and acrylics and oils dry down darker. I see this haze in the background. I'm going to use burnt sienna on that. And make sure it's nice and clean. I had blue in my brush, so I'm going to try that again. It's got such a beautiful red tone. All right, I'm going to try this. Oh, I like it. Okay, I'm going to leave that. Right now, I'm going to dry this with a blow dryer because I don't want these other colors to run. Next thing I'm going to do is paint this big cliff. I'm going to use my 3/4 inch brush. I'm going to use burnt sienna for my main color on this. If you squint at it, you can see that it's pretty dark. That seems pretty red. I think it needs some French ultramarine blue in it. That's better. I like the sculpted face on this. If anything, I want to highlight it. It's kind of like a face. You can maybe see a nose. The rock at the tide line is much darker because of all the sea life on it. So I'm adding a more pigment of French ultramarine blue and burnt sienna to get this, well, maybe not that black, brown down here. is the tide. And then the dark rock of the going through the hole, it's all in the shadow in there, so that's why that's dark. And then on this side too. And then a little bit lighter as we come out of the hole. I'm going to go with more just the burnt sienna over here. You want to, if you see a little bit pink in these rocks over here, you can add a little bit of permanent rose. I'm painting this fairly loosely just because I'm not trying to get every detail, just trying to give the feel of this. What I just did was I took burnt sienna and Antwerp blue and I made this wonderful green, and I'm going to add it at the top because there's just this bit of foliage at the top that sort of drips down at the top of these cliffs. And if I just sort of scrape it down, I'll get that feel. I think I can quit with just that. I'm going to use these same colors and put these rocks in. Or maybe I'm going to put in my ocean. Let's see, this is right here, needs. So I need to put in the ocean and the rocks. I'm just kind of roughing that up. It's not as, and sometimes you'll get some of that green coming down the cliff. There, I like that a little better. Okay, so if I put the ocean in, I can paint the rocks over it. So I think that's the way to go. Since I know that this is dry, my sky is dry, this is wet. To get a straight line, a lot of times I'll use a piece of tape to get my horizon line straight. And what I'm going to do is put it so that there's, I'm going to put a piece of tape down. And I'm covering up the sky, not the water, because I'm painting the water. And then this is going to help me have a nice straight line that I'll fake. Okay, so if I just press this down a little bit here, I can get my ocean in. So for my ocean, I'm going to use a number 10 round, and I have this cerulean from the sky, and that's a little Antwerp, and here's a little French. I'm going to see what color I get. I'm going to add some, oh, here we go. I added just my burnt sienna greenish mix, and I love this color now. What I'm going to do is add water to this so that I have very pale color here on the horizon line. I'll go right over those rocks because I think I can paint the dark rocks over them. I do see just a little bit of that brown in my water right in here, because the sunlight is reflecting on that. And then over here, right in the hole here, I need to have those exact same colors right in here. We're looking through the hole at the ocean right here, so it's very light right in there, and then it gets dark in front. That's the reflection in front. If I lift up this tape, hopefully I have a straight line. Well, it bled through a little bit, which I'm just going to just smooth out this and not worry about it. So things that aren't perfect are the good things in paintings. Okay, so now I have my horizon line done all the way through the rock. And now I'm going to put in my dark part of the waves. So this is just a little bit of French. It's the same colors, but more pigment. So this is French, Antwerp, and burnt sienna. And this is my shadow in these waves. Every brush stroke that I put in water needs to be a horizontal brush stroke. Well, except maybe these kind of need to be at a slant. Right there where the wave is coming. I want a little more green in that, so a little bit of Antwerp and a little bit more burnt sienna will give me a green into this. So this is the shadow of these waves. I'm using the belly of the brush to paint this so that it's rough. A lot of times when I'm painting ocean scenes like this, I want to have the water sparkling. I want it sort of rough. I'll use the other side of this paper because the other side of the Arches 140 cold press is a little bit rougher. Okay, so I'm putting this green in. Now I'm putting in the reflections of the rock into the water. So this has a little bit more of the burnt sienna into it. This is shining this way. This is here. A little bit of reflection in there. A bit of reflection there. And then there's a lot of it down here. So that's burnt sienna. Okay, so it's kind of makes a little, okay, so right in here. This is the darkest part of the reflection. That's going to be French and burnt sienna. I want it to be, I want to use the belly of the brush. See how I have the brush almost parallel to the paper. Because I want to leave some white. And now I'm going to add some more French into this part of it. And now I have a lot of white paper showing. I don't want it pure white. What I'm going to do is just going to add, well, actually right in here I can see some reflected light from the burnt sienna in the sky. So I'm going to add a little bit of that right in here. There's a little bit of it right there too. And now I'm going to go into my cerulean and see how that looks. I'm going to add some of that cerulean. That's not quite the color of the ocean. I do like it out here. So these waves have light color on them. Yeah, it's better when it's not pure white. Can have little bits of white kind of showing up, little speckles, but it's not going to be just white paper. This is a good time to sign my name. soon as I get a little bit more paint over here. Not sure I have the right color on that. I think it needs to be more French down in this corner. Let's add more French to this whole ocean and see how it looks. And there's a little line right through here. Lifted that up too much. Okay, I'm starting to like this. Okay, it's starting to look like the ocean and waves to me now. Just really focused in on those darks. I think that was the way to go. And then there is one, I see it now, right through here is one more little wave. So it is smaller than these other two. So this is the biggest, then the medium, and then the little one back here. It's really not the right color now. That's too Frenchy. There we go. Okay, so and that goes through there. Does it go through the hole? Kind of. That's there, and then it needs to be there. It's very pale, but it's there. Okay. Okay, good place to sign my name, like I said. And then this is some scratches. Oh, I like that. Just using belly of my brush to get some scratches in there. Should I sign it here because it's wet or over here because it sets up the painting better? I'll go over here. All right, so I'm scratching in with my bamboo signer, Mary Kay S. Jolly. Let's see. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of French ultramarine blue and I'm going to just paint over my name there. It's going to darken this corner, which is fine, and make my name show up. Yeah, that's better. Okay, and so now the light is here, it's here, and it's here. So really the only thing I have left to do is put in these 3 rocks. Those 3 rocks are going to be burnt sienna and French ultramarine blue in different amounts. So this, and the way they're getting, the wave is just making them flat here. So I've lost where it goes, but I'm gonna just put this one right here. I want it to go over the horizon and then stop at the bottom of that wave. Kathy Bob always said, don't make your rocks look like loaves of bread. That was one of the best things. Oh, see, now this is just looks like a shark tooth. Let's see. Okay, that's better. And then there's a little bit of reflection in the wave. And then the top needs to be just a little bit lighter. So I can either just wipe that up with a thirsty brush, or I could scrape it. There. That looks like, so hopefully that looks like the lights up there. Now I'm going to put in a couple bigger rocks over here. It's using the same technique, French ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. Oh, that needs to be darker so you can't see the sky through it. That's one of the problems in doing it this way, is that when you have the paint, you're going to be able to see the paint through. You just have to make it darker so. So you can't tell that I painted the ocean. Yeah, if we just work it a lot, we won't have dark under the rock where the ocean was. Okay, so now this one I want to put one behind it, but that doesn't go over. So, and then reflection. I just want to get this rock darker, more paint, so that I can't tell that I painted it half over the ocean and half over the sun, the sky. I want it to look like it's a solid rock and you can't see through it. I do like that little bit of light up on that rock. I'm going to change the shape of this a little bit. And when I changed the shape of it, I actually got some lights up on the top of that, so I like that. Okay. I'm not sure this right in here looks like a reflection. I think what it needs is to be softer right in here. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking my 3/4 inch brush and I got it wet, I dried it. So now this is a very sharp edge, but it's a thirsty brush. And so it will wipe up the paint. So I'm going definitely with a horizontal wiping back and forth. I feel like that needs to be a little darker right in there. When you're painting reflections, if the reflection is very dark, or no, if the object is very dark, the reflection will be a lighter tone. If the reflection is very, very bright, I said that wrong again. If the object is very, very bright that's being reflected, the reflection will be a little bit of a mid-tone of that. So the reflections are always more muted, both. Bright is less bright and dark is less dark. I'm just kind of playing around now to try to get this dark feel down here on that rock, because that's really where it's the darkest. And then maybe a little more reflection, a little more in the water. Trying to get the right color, sort of French ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. There we go. I want some highlights in this wave. There's some. We could just mess around with this forever, or we can just stop and say it captures the moment. What I want to do right now, though, is I want to try to get this right here. This is the lightest part of the white water showing with the sunlight on it. And then this is the water that's coming over the wave. So that's what I'm going to try and paint right now, is this part right here. And that's just a little bit of French ultramarine blue, maybe some cerulean, and I lost my train of thought there. Cerulean and burnt sienna to kind of gray it down. Yeah, that's kind of getting it. I like that. Trying to make that water look like it's splashing down into the dark part of that, the shadow. I'm lifting up whatever I did there, because this is the really the light part of the whitewater on the top of the flat ocean. Okay, and then right here, that's white, but it needs to have just a tiny bit of color on it. I'm just going to darken that with burnt sienna and French Ultra. And that's it. Thank you.